Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That Maik messed up my cables right before the stream started. I checked it to make sure everything's good, and then Maik decided to screw up with my audio cables, my camera, and my mouse. I'm absolutely blaming the cat for this one. It is Maik's fault. Anyway, hi, it is Arty of Arty's Corporate Fiction. Uh, we're gonna take a look at a video that's making the rounds from Judge Oakley. Most people know him as the standing judge, or the judge who just stands during most of his proceedings, at least. And I saw a little bit when Mike was covering it this morning, and it sounded like the prosecutor was having difficulty citing the ordinance that applies here. So I'm very, very curious how this ends up playing out. So I don't know the end. I don't know what happens, but I'm very curious what to do. Delete laws, $2. Thank you for the $2. We don't stop. Wow, I'm shocked that you already got your channel back. Again, for those who, for all 5 of you who don't know yet, Delete Laws got his YouTube channel nuked. Likely because somebody porn bombed his live stream. That has to be it. Couldn't have happened to a nicer guy. All right, let's go ahead and watch this.
That's bullshit. That's absolute bullshit. No, but
oh yeah, I forgot. Judge Oakley is also the one who swears in open court. It's a very rare thing. I know a lot of judges who swear like sailors when they're in chambers, but will absolutely not do that in open court. But yeah.
But I mean, I'm just like build it from scratch, right? I'm Henry Ford. I built it from scratch, and it's out there running around. But if I get it registered as a motor vehicle by the state of Michigan, they're putting their rubber stamp of approval on it, saying it's safe for me to put on their roads.
Okay, I actually now recognize this guy. He was wasn't he wearing a gray sweater or a gray hoodie? Because now I think I recognize who he is.
There's a safety issue, not just a money grab. And that's the way I'm looking at this. Because from my little bit of research, if I got to find it, if I want to go through the process to get my manufactured vehicle roadworthy, I've got to have tail lights. I've got high and low beam headlights. I've got to have turn signals front and rear. I got to have a rear view mirror. The state of Michigan is checking all these things off before they license me or register me to put it on the road. And they're saying, they being the state of Michigan, saying it's safe to get on the road with the F-150s that you and I drive.
Yeah, but again, you're giving.
Oh my god, he's explaining the basics of. I mean, I feel like you learned this in driver's ed.
Example, someone building something. The thing that my vehicle already comes quick and built, manufactured that way.
But here's the difference. Here's the difference. I can guarantee you that if somebody took the time and researched what these roadworthy requirements were state by state, they would be different. There'd be similarities, but they'd be different. So for Terex to sell it and say it's roadworthy, they're not guaranteeing you that it's legal in Michigan. They can't.
Well, that's why I put those disclaimers on. The other thing too.
Stop. I'm not done with my argument. That's where the registration process comes from. The individual states saying, yeah, Crucell, we think your Terex is legal on Michigan roads. That's the whole part of the process that changes from just any old thing that they decide they want to ticket somebody because they had it on the roadway. They could claim it's an ORV. No, they can't because it's registered. My F-150, your F-150. It's
ORV probably means off-road vehicle, maybe
registered with the state of Michigan as a motor vehicle, i.e., legal to be on the roads. That's what kills your overly broad argument, is because there's a process by which it is no longer an ORV. It's now roadworthy because the state of Michigan is registered as such.
But again, the state of Michigan is arbitrarily trying to convert everyone's right to travel by saying
that's a different argument.
Yeah,
that's a different argument.
I get where you're trying to go with this. I understand that. But again, you look at this definition, and no one said anything again. This all goes back to, I was not cited for no registration. I was not cited for insurance. None of that stuff even was even brought up. It was strictly the ORV that they're trying to stick to. And again, by going off this definition, that can be any single vehicle in the world. Anything that they want is capable of going off road.
Well, but here's my ruling.
Regardless.
Here's my ruling. Because there's a process to register vehicles, whether or not they're ORVs, F-150s, whatever they are, because there's a process in the state of Michigan is to register them as roadworthy, I don't think that's overly broad language. Because I think you can't read everything in a vacuum. So my ruling is, on that motion, my ruling is, I deny your motion that it's overly broad. I don't believe it is. But I still have problems with the way the whole thing went down.
Mm.
I'm trying to figure out how to deal with that. Because, and I think I've told you this from the beginning. I get it. Matter of fact, I think the first day you were here, I get it. You've had interactions with Huron Township police officers that said you're good. And now all of a sudden this guy says you're not good. And here we are. I mean, that's blatantly unfair. Whether or not it was accidental or by design, it's still like, okay, that's not fair, but that's the way things happen. All right. There's not a hell of a lot of there's a distinction, but you know, if I drive 75 miles an hour on 275 every day and I go by 3 officers, Huron officers, and they don't stop me because I'm only going 5 over, but the state stops me and writes me for going 1 to 6 over. It's kind of unfair, but clearly I violated the law. You follow me?
Yeah, but you're comparing 2 different departments.
It's apples and oranges. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Which is what I told you way back when. It's like, hey, I get it. It's unfair, but the tickets were issued. We got to go through the process and deal with it. Hold on. Stop. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to deal with the unfairness in the process. Okay.
Right, which I get what you're saying, but again, if I was charging this in, say, Flat Rock, and I tried pulling this over, Huron told me, then I get that.
Oh, absolutely. Your argument's much stronger in Huron. Absolutely. And once again, I'm feeling it. Okay. I told you from the beginning, I get it. It's not, it stinks. Okay. Do you know what the process is to register the Terex to put it on the road?
I get.
So I think he's desperately trying to explain to this guy, please stop making these right to travel arguments. You actually have a stronger argument on this issue than going through the BS right to travel stuff.
Given the state's processes to register vehicles.
How long would it take? If you know.
Well,
I don't have a clue.
That's been part of. If I was looking to do that, I would. But again, I've been confirmed that I had my lawful right to travel by several different, including, again, this all stems from the traffic sergeant in Huron telling me that I have the lawful right to do what I have to do. So I don't have any intention.
Well, what do you think the chances are of him?
Hang on. A $26.25 ORV light. I'm looking at this from the Michigan.gov, Department of Natural Resources. $26.25 ORV license is required to ride eligible county roads, frozen surface of public waters, state forest roads, and eligible national forest roads.
I'm coming in here and testify to that.
I don't think that he would incriminate himself.
So you're planning on issuing a subpoena? So you're going to issue a subpoena to him for trial?
And his fiance or girlfriend, because she was also the one relaying all the information to my wife about the same thing. So yeah, I would absolutely subpoena both of them to have them come here. I have a whole slew of people on the subpoena.
Right. Are you willing to register the Terex? It would help resolve things.
I remember you pointing out that she would like to have a traveling argument. If I got brought into the
don't go with the traveling argument.
Yes. It's like, please, no, don't go, do not.
To resolve these issues, would you be willing to register your vehicle with the state of Michigan, the Terex?
So he's like, if you agree to register your off-road vehicle, we're willing to just go for it right here and just stop.
Not at this point, no.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, there's other arguments that I have lots of stuff to show where the conflict with that is too. But again, that's not what we're here
What do you think we're here for?
for. ORV and road. We're not here for registration, none of that stuff. That wasn't part of.
But I'm trying to resolve issues. Okay. All right, because
I'm not just going to run around and make this big deal with Huron. I'm not a criminal. I have no criminal history. I was just doing something I lawfully had the right to do. It was confirmed I had the lawful right to do. And then now here we all are dealing with all this. And I'm being targeted by people that, and I've got good friends that work in the department. We've been, again, you've known averages. You've been a part of this forever. And then now all of a sudden.
Here's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing you want your trial. Because I don't think anything else is going to satisfy you other than to get the trial.
This needs to be dismissed, but it should have been, yeah.
But you don't have a legal argument that I can hang my hat on to dismiss it.
He's like, that's not happening.
I had all sorts of legal aspects to show that the whole beginning of this was an unlawful stop.
You've never even argued that. You've never filed a motion to dismiss for lack of probable cause.
Yeah, which is what which is what you would do if you're going to make that argument. If you're arguing now that the entire stop was completely unlawful from the get-go, you should have raised that a long time ago.
In the very beginning, and you dismissed it saying, I find probable cause just because I have all the recording.
Oh, you did. Yeah, you did.
Oh, he did.
Because I said, you're going down the roadway and you're doing something he thinks is illegal, gives him a right to stop you.
Yeah, but again, that goes back to the point that we had interactions and he chose to retaliate instead of going to talk to a traffic sergeant who's above him, right? Who is ahead of the traffic, who's the one that confirmed that I had every lawful right to do what I was doing.
Hold on. Go ahead.
He is above Sergeant Price, and he confirmed that operating an automated roadway is a crime. That's why it's a very cheap citation.
Yeah, but you don't think it's going to be problematic if Price sits on the stand and says 2 different times I told him he could do what he was doing?
That's also, I mean, that's a strong case for the defense that if it was told by sheriff's deputy, or what did he say, the sheriff or the sheriff's deputy multiple times that he's allowed to drive his ORV on the road, that could actually be some persuasive evidence.
Also, SovCit did make contact with Mr. Crusoe multiple times, notifying him that he was not to operate an ORV in the roadway. And during the stop, Mr. Crusoe himself said, I was waiting for this.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to tell you right now, if Price sits there and says on 2 different occasions, I told this guy that he could operate that vehicle on these roads, I can't see any trier of fact convicting him.
Which is true. A jury's got to look at that. It's like, yeah, if he's two different occasions, he told any juror is going to be like he's relying on a sheriff's deputy or sheriff, a person of authority who's supposed to know the traffic laws. It's not fair to hook him up when he's making a good faith reliance
of the RV.
That's true. Why didn't he have him here for our trials?
I don't know.
Again, because there's all sorts of issues. In all that paper I've been filing, there's issues the whole entire time. I had no intentions of doing any trial. And I even sat here the other day when I said I'm not participating, especially in a trial that ends in a court that owned by the state, you're owned by the state.
Let's talk about that. Hold on. Let's talk about that. Because I highlighted that when I got your motion last week or whatever it was. Okay. That's not the case. Okay. Huron Township, let me finish. Huron Township is bringing the charge against you. It's the Township of Huron versus you. It's not the state of Michigan.
It is. It says the state of Michigan. One of the not even says the state of Michigan against it.
It's a separate legal entity.
What's the old adage? Ignorance of the law is no excuse. Well, true, Jassa, very true. But the problem is that but in a case like this where it's very fact sensitive, good faith reliance on something that could be as sometimes confusing and sometimes nebulous as would be like the exact requirements or allowances of an off-road vehicle on a paved road. I think a jury's going to to kind of side with the defendant. Obviously, for something like robbery or attempted murder, no, they're not going to rely on. Oh well, somebody, some sheriff's deputy said I could do it. Like, okay, bro. Well, we need to go talk to the sheriff's deputy then, as well as you.
Entity.
And
Well-
Neil Gorsuch is, Justice Gorsuch, he's even coming out in the Reagan Center, even talking about how courts like these, that's what they're doing. They're denying people their rights, and they're only the
I don't know why he's citing Justice Gorsuch in this, but
breaking charges and judging their own cases. That is exactly what it is. You can't have a fair trial that way. Absolutely not. And not to mention that.
All right, well, let me stop you. That's the way our system is at this point in time. That's the only system we've got, is where the judiciary runs the courts, the legislature creates the law, and the executive branch enforces them. That's the system we have. If you don't like it, work to change it, but that's the system you've been charged in, and that's the system you've got.
And with the Chevron deference case being overturned, that explicitly stopped.
Chevron deference has nothing to do with this. Nothing. Oh my God, he's so lost in the sauce. Chevron has nothing to do with it. Chevron is federal. Chevron is a federal principle that was overturned, that dealing with federal regulations has nothing to do with state laws.
Then all of referring to the statutory, all this statutory stuff.
All right, you're getting nowhere with any of those arguments, Mr. Crusoe. You're not going to get anywhere with those arguments at this level. So the only thing you can do is get a judgment here that you can appeal to the next level and appeal that to the next level. And ultimately you may end up at the U.S. Supreme Court and have somebody agree with you, but you can't, that doesn't work here. We've got to deal with what we've got. I've got to deal with the precedents that we've got in place now, not your arguments that you think are going to be accepted down the road. That's the reality. All right. You and I can sit down over a cup of coffee, or I don't drink coffee, but whatever, and talk about how there are, problems.
Yeah. So what Judge Oakley's doing is something that Juan Galt always argues that a lot of these guys do, like is like they love to argue political philosophy in court. And obviously that doesn't work. Like, the judge is not going to engage in a philosophical discussion with you about the nature of statutory laws and governance and civics. We're in the here and now. We're not gonna go into a college class and discussion on political science
With the system, but the system we have now is the only system I've got to work, and I'm going to work it. So what I'm hearing from you is we got to get a trial date and let you get a decision. If you win, beautiful, you can stop there. If you lose, you're moving up the appeal chain. Because none of the arguments you've got apply here. Your travel argument, I'm not buying that. That's never been accepted anywhere that I know of, that I've got
They're the 23 months
reason to follow. I told you.
State arbitrators, they've been doing it for a very long
Say
time.
that again.
The state is, before I lost my word, but the state is going and trying to take people's right to travel and saying that everybody has to have these licenses and all these things.
Absolutely. And but hold on.
That's been a thing. Since I think licensing and registration of vehicles probably started in the early 30s, maybe in the 20s. I think maybe actually in the 20s. It's been around for 100 years that states have been regulating the use of the highways by passenger vehicles.
Hold on. It's well-established law, might be changed somewhere down the road, but currently it's well-established law that if you're traveling by means of a motor vehicle, you have to have a operator's license.
actually federal codes in all the states. Again,
This is not a federal court, sir.
It's not a
This is
federal.
not a
Why?
federal court.
okay, go back to Florida, right? Shows again, it's another ambiguous statute.
Okay, look, I'm not going to argue this. I've already argued this with you. I've made it clear from day one that your traveling argument dies. It doesn't go anywhere in this court. So stop arguing that. It's not going to get you to where you need to be, which is to resolve these files one way or the other so you can appeal it if you want to. You follow me?
Well, I'm getting very loving to take it, yes.
No, it's not where I want you to take it. It's where you have to take it because we're not gonna have these same arguments ad infinitum over and over and over again. We're gonna close these files at some point.
Should close the month.
But that's because you want them to doesn't mean
Yeah, exactly. Just because you wanted him closed months ago doesn't mean it's gonna happen, dude.
it's gonna happen that way. I'm not gonna dismiss these just because you don't like the way things went down. I don't like the way things went down. But the process has to be followed. As much as I would like to just make this go away, I'm not going to agree with you just to make the case go away.
Really.
Which is what a lot of sovereign citizens hope judges would actually do, is that they just annoy and delay and annoy to the point where the judge doesn't want to deal with it anymore, and they'll just like dismiss it and give them a win.
It is very obvious what took place.
No, it's not. But once again, Mr. Costello, it's obvious to you, but you're not the guy up here in the black robe that's making the decisions. It's obvious to
True.
you because that's the only way you can see it. And I get that. Right? I get it. It's your position. You're passionate about your position, but where you're losing it is you just won't accept the fact that I don't agree with you. I'm in charge and it's got to move forward.
Stubbornness.
That's just the reality of it. And once again, man, I hope you appeal it. I hope you make some new law. Good for you.
I mean,
What?
So now we need a trial date.
which I completed the judgment trial.
But once again, I don't care if you object. Listen to me. Listen to me. It's not being dismissed. That means we have to try it to make it go away. That's the way the process works.
Again, how is one supposed to get again? You yourself, and I've watched you in numerous other videos. Okay, I've seen you make yourself. You're on TikTok all over the place. And I see the things you say to everyone.
Oh no!
It's very obvious, and you yourself has even admitted to saying things to say with her. There is no way that I would ever have a fair trial. Any way, shape, or
What?
form.
And that's bullshit. That's absolute bullshit. Once again, just because I happen to agree with the prosecutor or any other party in a case,
Oh yeah, he also made this argument too. Oh my god, you agreed with the prosecutor over me? That shows obvious bias. Obvious collusion. You're in cahoots because you agree with the prosecutor, not me.
doesn't mean I'm biased against the other party. At any point in time, I've got to make a decision. Somebody's right, somebody's wrong.
That, right, to make it seem like you're not, but it is exactly how it is. The prosecutor and these courts, they work together.
But-
It's all by the state. It's-
Then once again, Mr. Crucell, then you need to appeal my decision when I told you I was not going to recuse myself. You should have appealed that. But we're not going to keep plowing the same field. I'm going to set a trial date and you're going to be here for trial or I'm going to issue a bench warrant. I don't know any other way to resolve the file. I've got to resolve these files. You need these files resolved. If you want to appeal me, you got to have a decision to appeal.
Yeah.
So, you keep sitting there and say, I'm not going to participate in a trial. At some point, you have to if you want these to go away. And hear my heart, if I knew of another way to get you to where you want to go, I'd throw that suggestion out there. But once again, I'm not just going to roll over and say, okay, case dismissed, because I don't buy your legal arguments.
Which is, again, wild to me because it's very clearly that this ORV thing is being overly applied because it's not.
But once again, it's clear to you. I just told you I don't agree with you. But you can't accept the fact that I might disagree with you. That's unhealthy.
Very
you
unhealthy.
You can believe I'm wrong. That's okay. But you got to accept the fact that I'm in the judgment seat and I've said you're wrong. then appeal me.
Appeal me, bro.
That's the way the process works. I understand you think the process is faulty, but that's the process we have. So if you've got some other way to resolve these files, a suggestion, I'm open to hear it. But the only thing I can say is we got to get a trial scheduled and let the chips fall. And I'd love to have you bring Officer Price in here. Because I told you from the beginning, I believe that inadvertent or not otherwise, the Township of Huron kind of sets you up to get the ORV ticket. Because I believe that you've been told in the past that you.
Oh my God. He's practically like telling him how he can win his case. But he's just so unbelievably stubborn that he can't even see it right in front of him. The judge is practically giving him legal advice.
We're okay. I believe that.
100%.
But I can't do anything with it here. Put Price on the stand and he says, I guess I was wrong because I told him he could do that. So what are we going to do? You ready to set a trial?
Leaving with no other option.
There is, I don't know of any other option, Mr. Crisell. I honestly, brother, I don't know of any other option.
Well, I mean, again,
Because I can't keep kicking the can down the road. I mean, I can't have this, I can't retire down the road and still have these open files here. I mean, I'm not doing my job. And I don't think it's doing you any good.
been a nuisance.
What's it going on? Year and a half now? Closer to 2, coming on 2. No, it was February 24. 24. Yeah. All right. So you want a bench trial? You want a jury trial? All right. You're going to represent yourself? Okay. Let's get a date.
Can you do January 30th, Thursday?
You? What day was it? Thursday? Yes. All right. So you're going to send the prosecutor an email with a specific date for that video you're looking for, or that body cam footage, I should say. Right?
Mm.
Okay. No further motions. We're going to trial. Well, the only other motion I'll entertain now is if it's a discovery motion. Understood, Mr. Crisell? All right. Questions? All right. Good luck.
Real quick, I mean, I do believe we're going to move files here in the firm. You guys have a bench warrant.
You got a bench warrant for something?
What?
What's it? A misdemeanor?
And the case number 4.
No else.
You got it?
Yes.
All right. We can get you a case or a court date for that, ma'am. Mr. Crisell,
Really?
we got a speeding ticket that's got nothing to do with this incident, I think,
Oh,
from August 21, 24.
it's time it is the retaliation stuff.
Okay. Who was that officer?
Also, Harold.
Okay. Did Merrill have anything to do with the other ones?
So my wife on her dead end road, and again, that's
Hold on. Merrill didn't have anything to do with the February incident, did he?
not bad. No.
Okay. All right.
Sorry,
So what are you going to do on this? Once again, it's in default because you didn't do anything with it.
So I need to do that. Paperwork, no one responded to anything to my paperwork.
What'd you file on this?
I got I gave them the ball in there.
Oh God! I didn't have to do anything because they didn't respond to my paperwork, my sovereign citizen BS paperwork. Genius, and he just says affidavit of rebuttal, which is like, no.
Yeah, none of that does anything.
Yeah,
That's more of the bullshit that we just ignore that stuff. So you want a hearing? Well, if you want him to prove it, then you ask for a hearing. You don't just file paperwork.
I told her if it wants to go to the date, you can give me a date.
Okay. Okay. Well, you don't ask the clerk if she wants to set a date. If you want to fight a
Yes.
ticket, you say, I want to contest this ticket. I need a hearing. So do you want a
Yeah.
formal hearing date? I'll give you a formal hearing date. All right. You want to do that before the jury trial? Huron have any formal hearing dates coming up?
We can do it on December 10th, so we'll keep it.
December 10th? Just my regular Tuesday, you mean?
It's a Tuesday, yes.
Yeah, that's all right. So formal hearing, what time do you do it? I'm asking you, 10:30? Then the other civil infraction is the CCW disclosure thing.
Which goes-
That's going with the February. You understood that?
We can do that before or after, Your Honor.
It's usually after. Yeah, understood?
Hmm.
That was a yes?
Yeah, I got you.
That was a yes.
All right, anything else, folks?
You gotta say it on the record.
Nine.
Denied.
Huh.
Motion to dismiss denied.
Denied.
Although I did like the argument.
Ha!
So we'll remove from our,
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you get a notice for her?
Yeah, she's got a notice.
Ms. Crisell, your bench warrant has been set aside. What is that? That's a misdemeanor though. What date you give her?
It'll be, it's in
The 10th?
when you're
January.
Okay, so this video actually didn't have what I saw earlier from Mike. And I think it hinted at when the judge was like, I denied your motion to dismiss, but I liked your argument. I think, if I recall what was said, or what was argued, is that I think the defendant was making a case that there was some sort of ambiguity on, or a question on what is being charged against him, whether it be by the township or the state, and whether or not the state's ordinance defines motor vehicle the same way as the state. There was like this back and forth on that, and it sounded like the prosecutor needed some time to figure that out. But I guess they ended up figuring that out, but then the OSG just moved it on to the more spicy stuff. Ultimately, I love this judge. Judge Oakley is fantastic. He tells it like it is. He's, no BS, but he's also very professional, and he also is very fair to the defendant. If the defendant is respectful, obviously he's going to provide respect back. I mean, for God's, he set aside his bench warrant, for crying out loud. On top of, despite him, interrupting here and there. So I definitely appreciate that, judge. Okay, well, I'll get more standard stuff. I'm sure we're going to see his trial upcoming. I actually missed it. What's the date? What was the date of the trial?
Yeah, none of that does anything. Okay. Body cam footage, I should say. I can't have this, I can't retire down the road and still have the one on. Year and a half now? Closer to 2.
December 10th?
Going on 2. No, it was February 24. 24. Yeah. All right. So you want a bench trial? You want a jury trial? Let's get a date.
Thursday.
You? What day was it? Thursday? Yes. All right. So you're going to send the prosecutor an email with a specific date for that video you're looking for, or that body cam footage, I should say. Right? Okay. No further motions. We're going to trial.
Okay. All right. Gotcha. So moving on, we're going to next year, but they're having a discovery motion that he's going to file with the prosecutor. Okay. Well, I can't wait. I think it's going to be fun. Hopefully, I mean, also Judge Oakley, he's trying his best. Like, dude, stop. Just stop with the right to travel BS. You have a case here. If you're able to get that sheriff's deputy to testify that, yes, on 2 separate occasions, I told them explicitly that he was permitted to be on the road with this ORV, without needing X, Y, or Z or whatever. And, a jury might look at that and say that, that's compelling evidence to dismiss. Anyway, appreciate you guys coming in. I'll be back on tomorrow with another video. I want to go over that deposition that went viral a couple of years ago. With the dude that looks like, I think the comment section, the dude looks like an 80s corporate villain from like 80s movies. That thing is funny as hell. I want to go over that. So I think we might do that tomorrow, unless something spicier comes along. And yeah, then we're getting into Thanksgiving, getting close. All right. Take care, guys. Have a good night, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
A simp, not a simp. so many shrimp, I die for
My bitch a choosing lover, never fuck without a rubber. Never in the sheets like it on top of the cover. Money on the dresser, drive a compressor. Top notch hoes get the most, not the lesser. Trash like the
I want to see that Roger Stone deposition too. I want to do that as well. God.
She be cross country, giving all that she got. 1,000 a pop, I'm pulling business off the lot. I smashed up the gray one, bought me a red. Every time we hit the parking lot, we turn head. Some hoes wanna choose, but them bitches too scary.